Well, a very warm welcome to Dusty Shelf, here today at Colne Valley Railway for the Miniatures Day. Coming up, we have a look at and take a ride on the 7 small-scale locos that are in full steam. We look around the wonderful model railway, probably the best in Essex, and we take a ride on a full-size diesel engine. Well, it doesn't seem like a year since the last Miniatures Day here at the Colne Valley. I've been a couple of times since then and came here and rode the rail car, but yeah, I've come back today because it is their Miniatures Day, and you know, I'm into my model railways. Now, as I've shown before on the channel, they do have one of the best model railways in the southeast here. Certainly one of the largest that I've seen, and yeah, it's fantastic. Runs an awful lot of stock. Today on the 7¼ inch gauge, they've got seven locos in steam, and as you can see behind me, running up and down the line, full diesel on the main line, a couple of miles of track here, running up and down, giving passenger rides. So going to be a fantastic day. So join me. We're going to have a look around and yeah, see what else we can see here, and another visit to this fantastic railway, Colne Valley. Well, making my way along the line here, just taking off the brakes in the brake van. A wonderful shot through the brake van here. I'll get that in a minute when the gentleman's moved on, but yeah, looking down the line through the window here, it's absolutely fantastic. You can see down the platform the intercity carriages that they've got here. This is actually their cafeteria here at the railway. Go and have your lunch sitting at a table in one of these coaches. Lovely station building on this side. See my reflection. Did love the footbridge here. We're just going past the post office van on this side. Is that Class 08? I think it is. Yep. And as we make our way across the points here with a DMU to the left of us. Did actually take a trip on that last year. Videos on the channel. HST here. Been repainted into that very distinctive livery. Another HST. And the coaches to go with it. Now they do an HST day here that I would quite like to come and take a ride on. Just next to it, some of the small-scale railways for the Miniatures Day. The crane here. They've got so many plans for this railway. It looks really exciting. Little battery loco sitting there in the yard. They're trying to raise some money to extend the line, and yeah, all kinds of plans. I think there's a £1 million plan they've got for this. Actually, I'm going to take it back. That wasn't the DMU I went on. It was actually this one here. You can see just at the end of these coaches. Yeah, this is the one I took the trip on. The bounciest ride I think I've had on any loco. Loving the whiskers on the front there. I'll be able to make it out through the coach there. There's a grey shed. And they're restoring locos here. So they've got, well, they had 2 Black 5s here. The first Black 5 has now moved for full restoration. The other Black 5 is still there, but I plan to get the vintage bus down there later to have a look around the yard and hopefully have a look at some of the stock that's here. Right, and now we head back down the line. I'm going to move to the other side. I love this section of road that's running parallel to us. Whenever I come down here, it's it's a case of peering out the window, seeing what stock you can see through the trees. When I used to come here as a kid with my parents, we used to park in the lay-by. There wasn't a car park in a visitor centre here back then. See the buffers are here at the end of the line, look at those. Whistle off on the miniature railway. You can see the miniature railway track running beside us. So we can't see too much of the engine. There's quite a large wagon in between us and the engine, but yeah, potentially a better shot here of the diesel there and the HST being finished in that wonderful iconic livery. Where they plan to run the tracks down behind the platform. Back past the postal van and the bridge. They do a wonderful little museum here as well. Yeah, certainly a great day out if you're in the area. Come and have a look at Colne Valley Railway. Look at the red post box over there, and there's a beautiful station building. Some repurposed carriage there for the waiting room, the water tower. Another Ruston just here. Don't know if you can make out behind the tree there, the traction engine making its way up the hill. And the end of the miniature railway just there, over by the car park, the visitor centre. I do think some of this track's been relayed since last year. It was awfully bumpy when I came here last time, and yeah, it seems much smoother. Had to wade down through the trees. Passing track at the side here. This railway certainly has so much potential. I just think there's 1.5, 2 miles of track here, and it is great that they are running locos. They do have steam days. Steam loco we just went past, I don't believe that has a ticket, but yeah, they do have visiting locos now and again. And yeah, it is said that when the Black 5 is back on the main line in a couple of years' time, that it will return to the railway, and I'm really looking forward to that. That's as far as the line goes at the moment, but as I say, there's a lot of potential, and I believe the wish is to extend the line. Right, heading back down the line. There we go, we found the gear. Brake van first this time. Nice to be sitting outside on these benches here in this open wagon. I think if the weather's poor, we move inside the brake van or one of the other bits of rolling stock they got here, but yeah, today, beautiful weather. See the sign there that says whistle. Nice signal box there. Through the beautiful countryside. Tower just to the side here, just next to this beautiful signal box. And we make our way back into the very picturesque station. inside the beautifully restored signal box. You can see the lever frame here, still operating all the signals here on the line, and different bells and right-of-way machines at the top there, and at the very top of the map. And over this side, another right-of-way machine sitting on the top of the box there, and in the corner the obligatory stove. Just have a look inside the cab. Yeah, riding the train, you can see got this low loader here, and then at the back there you can see the carriage that sort of blocks your view from seeing the loco. So never mind. Well, obviously my favourite part of any railway is their model railway, and in here, in this shed of wonder, let me make my way in, is probably one of the best model railways in the southeast. Well, this has to be one of the southeast's best and largest model railways. Every time I visit, it seems to go from strength to strength with new little details added. Whether I didn't notice them last time, I'm not sure, but certainly looks all the better every time I come here and have a look at the layout. Wonderfully detailed and an absolutely huge size, as you can see. So much stock running, all in different directions. Just follow this loco through, and you see as it disappears underneath this wonderfully modelled castle. I've mentioned the bridge here and the boat scene before in previous videos. You can see the little signal box down at the bottom here, and just over the back there, the goods shed with the cattle pens in front. Loving the station area with all the different tracks running through. Just follow this loco round. We have two paths through the station. Look at those LNER coaches. There's so much stock on here. I mean, I think that's what makes this layout particularly special. When I visited Trago Mills, they had a fantastic layout there, but running barely one or two trains, which was such a shame. You know, it's so much potential. I mean, if I just pan along here, give you some idea of the size of this layout. Try not to get people in the shot. See the true scale of the setup. Got 3 trains making their way down, one on the return. Wonderful Metcalfe station building in the corner here. The only problem I'm finding, I'm just going to pan back a little bit, as you can see these perspex boards around the side here that obviously there to keep fingers away from the models. Yeah, it's very difficult to film through and over, which is a bit of a shame. I'd like to do this more justice, but I'll do my best. Do love the way the locos climb up this hill. Well, this one's struggling a little bit. His wheels are slipping. There we go. Off it goes again. Let's see the fire engines here with the fire station. The full fairground over the back there, all operational. Little buttons down here. I'll just come back and you'll see little buttons. As you push them, all of the different models make their way round. So right at the end here you can see the Dodgems, then the Waltzer, got the Cherry Swing making its way round there, the Octopus, a big wheel making its way round, and little kiddies roundabout at the back there. Looking at all the detailing in the greenhouses. The junkyard here on top of the hill. Now, if I remember rightly, this layout was built by a gentleman, and the museum here rescued it. I say rescued, was bequeathed it on his passing. And yeah, built this shed and restored the layout to its working glory, as you see here. Okay, just reading a couple of bits from the wall here. During late November 2007, we received a call from Mrs. Bradford asking if we'd be interested in her late father's large 00 gauge model railway. It was in a shed in his garden in Dunmow. Seeing as the house was rented, the landlords wanted the railway and shed removed as soon as possible. On first seeing the layout, we were amazed by what we saw, and we were expecting it to be considerably smaller. It then goes on to say by the end of 2008 it was agreed for the layout to be rebuilt. So basically the railway brought it into its care in 2007, agreed in 2008, planned for a shed. 2010 this shed that we're standing in now was built, and then 2011 onwards the layout gradually formed back into running condition, and and eventually brings us to present day with this wonderful setup that they've got here at the railway. Another button here that says mine, and yeah, just over the back here. Again, I'm going to lift up above the glass. You can see the mine shaft, or the headgear of the mine shaft all working.
Part of the rules we got from the miners. But that happened to me, lunch break, the same length of time it takes to mine to bring up the coal to refill.
And you see all the little buttons on the front here to be pushed to make the model operational. Got here the windmill. Let's push this one. Now I've got to try and spot the windmill. There it is, right over the back there. So by the big wheel. What a great idea to have the buttons here for the the youngsters to push. Really does engage them in the models. Just notice on the back wall all the low release buildings all the way along. Most of those, by the look at them, super quick. Little N-gauge model running back and forth along the front of the layout here. Again, filming through the glass, so hopefully you can see this all the way to the end. I absolutely love this sign. Retired person on the premises, knows everything and has plenty of time to tell it. And this one as well. I looked at my symptoms online. Turns out I just need to have more trains. Well, as I left the shed housing that wonderful layout, I heard someone exclaim, "Now this is what you call a model railway." Fantastic. Credit to the guys that spend so much time and effort keeping it running. I've not seen this service vehicle here before. Little diesel engine or petrol engine, two-stroke engine maybe in the wagon there. A little passenger car. And yeah, water carrier at this end. Yeah, very peaceful. But yeah, a lot of insects. Interesting view of the saddle tank here. Quite an interesting angle to look at because it's slightly lower than the track. Not sure if that's coming out on the camera, but where I'm standing, you're sort of looking up at the loco. Well, 7 trains in steam today, so we've got this first one here called Doe. There's this one here, Dolbadaran, from the East Hearts Railway. And just coming in. Can't see the name of this one yet. Hold on, bear with me. Mrs. Darling. Then we've got Athol Glaswyn over the back there, and then in the foreground, I forget which it's called, a Centurion. And a final one over the back there, just being replenished with coal and water and oil. Unfortunately, I can't make out the name from this distance, so apologies. can see down the side here where I'm guessing there's going to be some rails. Eventually maybe this siding's going to continue down there. I don't know for sure, but just guessing. Again, the Class 08. And oh, look at that for an angle. Right underneath the rail motor here. The intercity there, a high-speed train being painted in that Kenneth Grange livery. And the other high-speed set that they've got here. I do need to get here on a day when they're running that. Believe it or not, I've never been on one. In all the years I've been following railways and riding railways, I've never actually been on one of those, so yeah, maybe one day. And here comes the diesel. What a fantastic little railway this is. Can get a really good view here of the bed that's been laid, and I can only think that yeah, indeed some tracks are going to be laid here. It does look like a platform edge has been put there. I'm guessing what they're probably going to do is move the Royal Mail carriages around this side, because the platform's actually got two tracks through it, but one of them is sort of permanently used for the display of the post office cars. Again, only speculating there. Plenty of old sleepers here. So whistles as we head into the tunnel. What a great idea for a garden railway. The little trestles here. There we go, there's some food for thought. Nice little display track here with the mammoth loco going around, and loving the Willesco workshop and the traction engine at the other end. Let me just zoom in on that and let's get at some footage of the mammoth loco. Now, if you haven't seen the video, I was actually at the mammoth factory the first and last open day. So the day after they had their open day, the receivers came in and yeah, took most of the machinery as the building went back to the landlord. So if you haven't seen that video, I'll put a link in the description. Go and check it out. It's certainly interesting seeing all the machinery. Well, I've just jumped on the vintage bus to head up to the Black 5 shed, where one of the two Black 5s that were here is still under restoration. Now, the vintage bus we're on, if I remember correctly, this is part of a collection owned by a chap in Great Yeldon who's planning to open a bus museum. And I think the long-term ambition is for the railway to be extended to Great Yeldon and yeah, indeed connect with the new bus museum if it gets off the ground. I really do hope that happens. Double-decker bus that we're on. I don't use buses very often, but certainly being on a vintage one, something quite special these days. See the beautiful countryside out here. The railway itself, Colne Valley, is just outside Great Yeldon, near Castle Henningham, not too far. It's the other end of the line to, I forget the name of that museum now, I'll put it in the caption there, but there's another railway museum at the opposite end of the line in Colchester. And, yeah, this is the other end of the line. And as we drive down the road here, this is the road I pointed out from the big loco earlier. There's the lane mine where we used to park years ago. That used to be the entrance to the railway. And at the far end of the tracks there's a shed, and in that shed they have been restoring two Black 5s. One of them quite a long way into its restoration, and it's been moved to Riley and Sons, I think it might be. And yeah, hopefully in the next couple of years that'll be back on the main line. But the other Black 5, it was outside last year, but maybe it's been moved inside. There's also a couple of other interesting bits of kit down here that hopefully we'll get to see today. Well, when I was here last year, 45163 was sitting in the workshop here, getting ready to be dropped back onto its wheels, if I remember rightly. I'll put some. Well, right down the other end of the line, the working line for the Colne Valley Railway, are the workshops here for the Black 5. And yeah, we just popped outside the back of the workshop, and you see here 35010 Blue Star. So Blue Star, you can see here, Merchant Navy class. Now this loco was actually moved from last year when the Black 5 came out of the workshop. They built new tracks on the end here, and this track that the loco's sitting on, and this was pushed to one side so they could get the Black 5 out of the workshop. But if I remember rightly, this is the one with the cracked cylinder. It's got damage, yeah, it's at this end. Got the broken cylinder that needs replacing. One day. Beautiful model here. 7 1/4 inch scale, standard Black 5. Look inside the cab. Hopefully the details coming out. Absolutely beautiful model. And then when we were here last year in the workshop, this is where 45163, the Black 5, was being restored. So there's two here, there's one outside. Go and look at that in a moment. Two different teams, and yeah, this one moved up to Riley and Sons for final completion, and it's just the tender that remains here. So you can see the tender on the side there, and the wheels from the tender just in front of me, gradually being restored. Got the brake mechanism down here, been removed from the tender, and a lot of corrosion here and there. Some other bits from the tender down on the floor, and you can see the tyres for the wheels just stacked up to the side here. Original steps, gentleman showed me around. It's an absolutely fantastic tour around the workshop. Showed me the original steps here and the lamp brackets down on the floor there. And then here's the frame. And you can see how the work on the frame's progressing. Gentleman was saying the frame's not in bad condition, but there are some bits to be replaced. You can see down at the bottom of the frame here, the lower section just needs obviously a little bit of a repair there. You can see the horn block still on the middle here, on the middle axle. Fascinating to see it in this condition. And just inside the machine shop here, got some fantastic bits of kit. You can see here the casting for the cab window sitting here on a milling machine. Proper engineering this. And the lathe to the side. Look at the size of that. And then right over the back here, finishing lathe. A couple more bits of the tender there, but if we just come back down past the wheels, chap was just pointing out to me the markings on the tender just here. You can just make it out. I don't know if the camera's catching that, but it says on hold. You can see down the bottom here it says HOLD, and they're actually the markings from Barry from Dyer Williams scrapyard, where this was rescued from. You can see the markings still on the front of the tender there. Just make my way further down in the workshop, and just make my way back down past the tender, and show you the cab sides at the end here. Here's the steps. They're in lovely condition, aren't they? But they've still been replaced. These are, you can see the thickness of the material on there, and here's the new step. You can see on the side here the components for the new steps. You can see the old ones from the other side of the tender just here. You see how thin the metal is now. And then here, got the old cab side and the new cab side. So you can see the old side of the cab and the new side of the cab. So with the loco being up at Riley and Sons with its final finish, bits of it are still being made here, and you can see a completely new cab side, but they have retained the window surrounds from the original. You can see they're missing on the original here, and you see 5160 still on the cab side there. And just panning round, we've got a completed buffer on the floor, and this in component form. Look at the size of the spring on there. I just say to the chap, I can only imagine what that would be like with spring compressors on. The buffer all in component parts there, and probably one of the most important parts of the steam engine, the regulator lever. So this will be making its way up to the other workshop shortly, I guess. This is the boiler off of 45163. Now this isn't actually going back on the loco for its first runs on the main line. There's a replacement boiler that they've got at the other builder that's going on here. This is the original boiler that's still here, and just to the side here, painted in blue, you can see the boiler off of the other Black 5 that's here, which is actually underneath this tarpaulin here. And we'll just make our way down to the end and have a quick look at the frames of this. How often do you see a Black 5 boiler out in the sunlight? That's certainly coming on, isn't it? This is 45293.
Yeah, this wasn't too bad, this one. It was all the rest of it.
It's just a yard full of wonders, isn't it? Look at this, the smoke box sitting here. Over the back there, the horse box van or cattle wagon.
Tender wheels for their Black 5 next door.
There's a cab side sitting there. That's probably the cab for the one behind me.
They've got one like this. Moved about.
I say the other Black 5 boiler out here in the sunshine, and over the back here is the I believe that's the tender, or at least a replacement tender for Blue Star that we saw out the back of the workshop. As I say, really fascinating and very special to come down here. This isn't normally open to the public, so this is one of the very few open days where we get to come in and have a look around. And the gentleman who's just showed me around spent so much time talking me through all the components. I've only shot a little bit at the end here, just obviously I didn't want to film the guys who were speaking, but yeah, absolutely wonderful tour around the workshop I've just had, and absolutely fascinating, and yeah, really cannot wait to see these back on the back in steam. And a final couple of shots here of the this beautiful Black 5 7¼ inch, just as I leave the workshop. Honestly, how wonderful is this? How special. London Transport Route Master. Yeah, feel very privileged to have a ride in this. You know, I remember when these were travelling around the streets of London, and you just jump on and off and not think anything of them, but yeah, to ride one today, absolutely wonderful. How wonderful is this? Look at this for a view. In front of the Route Master, as we make our way on back to Colne Valley Railway. See up the top there the second deck, just overhanging the cab and the front of the bus. Lay-by where I used to park as a child. Well, I didn't park as a child when my parents parked, when we would come up here to see the railway. See the miniature railway just through the fence there. Right, I've got a very special treat here to ride on the guards van. So head down the line. A really good shot here of the footbridge. Let's see the 08 to the side there. Really clear pictures. Clear view of the rail motor. The HST there with the repaint. I've got some of the small locos here. 7¼ inch, running up and down for the miniatures day. 7 trains in steam today, which is great, absolutely great to see. Well, today's been one of those days where I plan to just call in and make a video, and because it was the small engines day or the miniatures day, and I've been here all day. I've loved every moment of it, riding behind the trains and yeah, watching them going up and down the line. Rather than being here for a few hours, like I say, I've used the whole day up here, and I did plan to go to another railway exhibition, so sadly missed out on that one. Certainly lovely to have the smell of steam wafting around in the air, and yeah, the diesel running backwards on the main line, just the sheer power that's coming from the engine. Seeing the high-speed trains up close was also something quite special. Anyway, as always, if you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up, and please check out the channel. Lots on there, and if you can subscribe, you'd be doing me a big favour. And why not drop me a message? I'll read them all and reply to as many as I can, and I love hearing from everybody. And with that, I'm going to leave this one there and just say thank you ever so much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.